Hi crafters, Amy here with Amy's Wares, and today I'm going to demo the Cloud Edger stencil from A Colorful Life Designs. I'm showing you the products here. This is the Cloud Edger. This is the inner and outer portion. You will receive both when you purchase this stencil, but I'm going to be using this as well as some 110-pound cardstock Nina Classic Crest Solar White, and I have some distress inks in various different colors that I'm going to be using, as well as my blending brushes. Now I'm going to show you here in a moment the original card that I'm kind of trying to recreate. Deb recently reached out to me and asked if I could do a video showing how I made this card. So this is my answer to that, Deb. I hope this helps you. As you can see on the original, I used Distress Oxides, but I'm just using similar colors in Distress Inks instead. So you'll have kind of the same effect. I've just preferred using Distress Inks recently with my blending brushes. I feel like they go down better. So I'm just showing you what I'm doing here. To start, I'm just going to lay down some of the yellow and the pink. I have scattered straw and worn lipstick, I believe, are the two warm colors, and I'm just kind of laying those down after I spread ink all over my inkstand here. But I'm putting them down in various places on the panel to start, just kind of some very light blending, just so I can bring those colors into the design. Now I think I got my original inspiration and learned how to use this from the fabulous Chris Dayton. I don't know if you guys know her, but I got to know her a little bit through the design team at A Colorful Life Designs, and she is just a fabulous card maker and artist, to be honest. She's so talented. So anyway, I think I learned this originally from her. And basically, I'm just going to come in now with the blues, and there's really no rhyme or reason to this. You're going to get a different look every single time. I'm trying to go as close as I can to the original design, but basically what I'm doing is I'm kind of using the stencil to cover the yellow and the pink. Now I do end up overlapping a little bit with the blue, but the main reason I'm kind of covering it up is because I really want it to stay yellow. I don't want it to be green, just because you won't typically see green so much in the clouds. So I do want to incorporate those warm colors, but I don't want them to change to a different color. So this is also something to consider, whether you're using dye inks or pigment inks or hybrids. You really can do use any of these inks with this stencil. All of them will work, but just bear in mind how they're going to react differently. So a dye ink is going to soak more into the paper, whereas a pigment or a hybrid is going to kind of stack on top of itself and layer a little bit differently. So again, you can see I'm just using all different parts of the stencil. Sometimes I even use the bottom of the stencil to kind of lay down some color where it would appear like under a white fluffy cloud. So there's really, I'm telling you, there's really no specific way to do this. You just kind of play with it until it looks the way you want it to. So I'm kind of coming in heavier handed in spots, laying down that stormy sky or some of the darker blue colors, and then kind of blending it a little bit from the edges of the paper, kind of giving it a little bit of a vignette. But honestly, you can see how simple this is. It's just such a beautiful and unique stencil. I remember this is actually a pretty special stencil to me because this was the very first stencil I ever bought from A Colorful Life Designs. Now fast forward, going on 2 years or a little over a year, and now I'm on the design team, and I'm very close with Mary Kay at A Colorful Life Designs, and it's all because of the Cloud Edger stencil. So I'm very thankful that it brought me to get to know Mary Kay and this awesome small woman-owned business in Texas. So I hope you enjoy this stencil as well. She has a whole selection of these edger type of stencils where you can just create all different beautiful landscapes and kind of more realistic designs on your cards. So there's some of my favorite in the lineup. So I'm kind of just doing some fine touches, kind of getting it exactly how I want it. And you can also use the frame as well as an additional option while you're blending. But honestly, I find that you know, flipping between the different edges and then even flipping over the stencil, you're going to get such a variety of the little bumps for the clouds that it's going to look very natural and not uniform at all, which is, you know, what you want if you're looking for a more realistic type of sky background like this. So I'm about done here, I think, deciding if I want to add a little bit more color. I kind of come in and just pump up the color a little bit, pump up the pink and the yellow, but overall it's pretty close to the original. I think I may have used a little bit of a purple shade on the original, but I'm going to use these wonky stitched dies. These are frame rectangle dies, and they're going to kind of cut it down a little bit smaller than A2 size, so it will have a slight white border and it will have that fun wonky stitched edge. So I'm just going to attach this to a card base, again 110 pound classic crest Nina Solar White. Just using some tape runner here just to attach it right on the card base. And then I'm going to use this stamp set from My Favorite Things. It's got a whole bunch of awesome encouraging statements, so I thought they were perfect for this encouragement card. And it's called Anything But Basic something or another. I moved it away too fast from the screen, I can't tell you. But anyway, I will link it in the video description box below with all the other products that I use. But I just loaded this up in my Mini Misty and messed with it for a while to make sure it was nice and straight. Lift it up, try again. But a simple design like this, obviously you want to make sure that your sentiment is straight because there's not much else on the card. It's flat and pretty single layer, so just make sure I get this straight. And then I'm going to stamp it down with the VersaFine Clair. That is a really dark black pigment ink, so it's really good for fine details, for sentiments. It's definitely my go-to ink for sentiments or, you know, word stamps like this. So just going to stamp this probably a couple times just to make sure it's nice and rich and dark. That's the beauty of the Misty. You can stamp it as many times as you need to, as long as you got it in the corner there. Then just wipe it off, added some blingage, and there you go. So that's how you use the cloud edger. I've used the stencil in so many different cards just for like a little subtle add-on to my design or as kind of like the focal point in this card, but I'm telling you, there's nothing better. You need the stencil in your crafty stash. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing, and I'll link all the products below the video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.